What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Raw and Nerdy. This is episode number 111. I'm Archon.
And I'm Rook.
And we are going to talk about some deep stuff today. We're going to talk about the universe and everything in it. Basically.
Pretty much.
So, how was your week?
It wasn't too bad. Outside of work, it wasn't too bad. I didn't do too much too exciting. I did play some games. I started playing KOTOR, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I'm doing a run. I'm going to run through that and then Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 and then jump into a new character because I do have a subscription to Star Wars The Old Republic. So I'm going to jump into a new character on that and see how that all flows together. So it should be very interesting. But I'm finding out without getting any add-ons, widescreen is not the best screen to play Knights of the Old Republic on.
Really?
Yeah, it makes you look squat and fat because they don't have a...
it's an older game.
A resolution. Yeah, they don't have a widescreen resolution. I figured they would I thought Steam would make it where it would fit the resolution size and that my monitor in front of me would actually fit the size of that resolution. But apparently it doesn't.
Yeah, you might just have to turn it to like standard 1080p or something.
It's on standard 1080p right now. I just figured it would do big black borders on the sides and shrink it down to where it fits, but it doesn't.
Can you do it in like windowed mode?
I did. I might do it in window mode and shrink it down again to see if that works. Make it look a little bit better.
That's what I would do.
The only thing I can do, really.
Oh, that sucks.
But other
there's
than
a way
that,
to fix it.
No, there is. I'm gonna go through Steam settings and I'm gonna go and see if window mode will work. I hope it will.
So what else you been playing? You said a couple games.
Well, there's that. For some reason, I got back into doing football, but as the actual offensive coordinator, and I'm doing the head coach stuff. So, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of those videos actually have different things they do.
Uh-huh.
But I want to actually take it. I thought about taking a character, running through NCAA, and then Madden. And then after Madden, have him go into being a football coach in NCAA and working his way.
Not career mode, but like full life mode.
I'm doing life mode in football.
But they don't have like a Pee Wee league. They need like a Pee Wee league and a high school league and a.
I mean, I could go get backyard football and play that.
Take him from a kid all the way through his whole career.
That'd be funny. But they don't have high school football. The closest they get is really NCAA 14 actually has a full season of high school football where you build up your star rating and get better and better to get better stats to start the game. But I think I'm going to play it on PS5, which is NCAA 25 and Madden 25.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now I'm going to focus on KOTOR because I really want to build the character. And I don't know what kind of character I want to run. So if anybody has any ideas on how I should run the character, let me know because I will gladly run it that way.
Dark side. Make all the evil choices. I love making all the evil choices in those games. I don't know why. Like, even Knights of the Old Republic, I always go so evil.
See, it's easy for me to go evil choices or good choice. It's really easy for me to go good choices because that's how I play. That's me normally. But it's easy to go evil choices. The one that's really hard to do is run a Grey Jedi and follow a Grey Jedi code that play more like Ahsoka, really.
Huh.
Where you can lean both ways.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
go, like,
where
straight neutral.
Yeah, that would be really hard to do. But I'm going to give it a shot now, I think. Yeah.
Right. Could be fun.
Oh, yeah. But really, that's really all I've been doing besides work. I don't I don't have a lot to do in the mornings, so it's get
Yeah.
up, do some stuff, and then play later.
I've been kind of, this has been a rough week for me. I had somebody call in on me on Monday, so I had to go in and cover their shift. And it was one that I didn't really know, so I had to kind of wing it. And then I had a whole bunch of crap to do throughout the week. And then I had somebody call in on me on Friday, which is another route I didn't know. And that one was rough because we were getting really bad weather at the same time. So it was
Mhm.
like I'm out there driving like 25, 30 miles an hour because the roads are like absolute crap doing a route I didn't know. So it was good
Oh,
fun.
fun.
And then this week, because of that, my district manager was like, "Yeah, I think we need to make the routes priority. Make sure you know all the routes." So now I have to be on route on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with different guys, and then do a few things in the office on Thursday, and then Friday I have to run another guy's route because he's on vacation. So
Oh, that sucks.
I'm gonna be on route pretty much all week, and then the following week I'm on route a couple more days, and then that Friday another guy's on vacation, and then the following week I got somebody on vacation 3 days that week. So yeah, I'm gonna be on route a lot for the rest of this month.
You gonna be a busy man.
Yes, sir. But it's the joys of being the manager. I don't
Mhm.
mind it. I kind of like it, but it's a good change to be on route. Just realize how out of shape I really am when I go on route because I am tired at the end of the day. But I have got to play a little bit. I've gotten back into my Final Fantasy playthroughs a little bit. I'm almost done with Final Fantasy 4.
Nice.
I sent Rook a screenshot the other day of my little Final Fantasy collection on Steam, and he's like, "That's kind of impressive."
That was a lot of games.
I have other than 11 and 14, I have all of the base games, and I don't have I have 12, but it's on Switch, and I have
Hmm.
16 on PlayStation on the PS5. So like I have
That's
all
a
of them
lot.
1 through 16.
I didn't realize they were that, big.
What do you mean?
The franchise, I didn't realize it had I know.
Oh, there's more too. There's like 4 or 5 offshoots that I don't have, like Crisis Core, and like there's a couple, like there's a few other ones like the Dissidia franchise, the
Mhm.
Dissidia. I did end up getting Tactics, the remake of Tactics too, though, because I had to. Why not? I
Of
mean,
course.
Tactics is
I
fun.
mean,
That's one of my
yeah,
favorite ones. So, but I'm
yeah, it's
almost done with 4. I'm pretty close to the end of 4 right now, and then I'll knock out 5, and then I'll get to 6, which is one of my arguably my favorite in the franchise. I love 6. 6 is so much fun. So, but the problem with the Final Fantasy games is every one you get or every one you beat, the next one is probably twice as long as the one before, playtime wise.
mhm.
And they're starting, like, once I get to 6, we're starting to get into like the 30 to 40 hour each game. So it'll start taking longer and longer to get through them. But that's all right. It'll be fun. I think the only
That
one
is
that I've
true.
never played at all before, well, I haven't played Final Fantasy 13 Part 2 and 3. I haven't played those yet,
Mhm.
ever. And I played 15 for like an hour once. I haven't really played 15. So
I started 15, but
it's
really
just
haven't played
weird.
it much.
It's a lot different than most of the like that's when they changed the combat style a lot and it got a little like really weird. So
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see. But I'm still going through it. I haven't given up on it. But then today I was scrolling through our Discord and I came across a comment in our gaming section from Nikki Z, and it was a video about a game called Hightail. Did you watch that video?
I don't know if I watched it all the way through. I started watching it and then didn't really pay attention to it.
It was like I got sucked into this video because it's okay. So this game Hytale started out called Hypixel. It was a mod server basically for Minecraft. Except it was really good and really popular. And then like when Microsoft bought out Mojang, they started setting all these like parameters on them. So they're like, you know what, we're just gonna make our own game. So they made a game that's similar but has like a lot more to it, and they start calling it Hytale, and it's been like in production for like 7 years or so. But then
Mhm.
Hytale partnered with Riot Games, who makes like I think it's League of Legends or something like that. And Riot Games eventually bought them out and bought the rights to the game. And they're like, all right, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it as like a big scale, compete with Minecraft type of game. And they started firing the original producer or the original creators and the original designers. And they wanted like all these new systems in there, and they started taking away what they wanted. Like the game was supposed to be designed where you could mod it your way however you wanted, and they started taking all that out. They're like, oh no, we're going to make it on every console, so we're going to change the whole like graphic system and everything for it, and we're going to just make it this big AAA game. And then last year in the middle of the year they're like, yeah, we're canceling the project, it's just too much. Well, the original creators then, because of the community and everything, the original creators bought the rights of the game back from Riot Games. And in 8 weeks, they reversed everything that Riot Games had done, put everything back the way they wanted it, and released it in 8 weeks. And it's in kind of like an early
Nice.
access state right now. And it looks really freaking cool. Like I was like down this rabbit hole for like an hour earlier, just watching all these videos about it and everything about it. And like like people were saying like, don't, if you love Minecraft, don't play this game, because once you play it you're never going to be able to go back to Minecraft, because it just expands upon everything that Minecraft did but makes it better. And I'm debating it.
Yeah, I just looked at it real quick and I was like, "Oh, wow. That's very Minecrafty."
It is very Minecrafty, but it's also got like a really strong RPG element, and it's like there's community servers and stuff where you can play with like tons of other people, like in an MMO style. And like there's like all these little side games involved in it, and like questing and leveling up and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, man, that kind of looks like a lot of fun. I might want to try it.
It
So
does.
I don't know. There's like I'm looking at there's like 3 different versions that you can get on board with: the standard supporter or curse breaker founder
Mhm.
edition, which each one comes with like different skins and like just different things you can help support the game. Like it's basically like a Kickstarter campaign. You paid for the early access and help them finish the game and stuff. But it it looks more polished than most finished games. So I don't know. I might get down on like the little standard edition. It's only $20. Might be fun. We'll see. If I do, I'll keep you guys posted. But I mean, other than that, like I got family visiting me this weekend, and it's obviously as we're recording, this is Super Bowl weekend. We actually are
Of
recording a day
course.
early today because normally we would record on Sunday night, but yeah, that's not happening during the Super Bowl. I'm gonna be at a Super Bowl party myself watching the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, I'm debating upon if I wanna watch the Super Bowl or the Puppy Bowl. I mean, I might watch the Super Bowl because the Kansas City Chiefs ain't in it, but I
see,
don't know if I wanna watch it because it's just a rehash of the New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks.
yeah, but without Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, and I wanna see if this head coach will throw the ball at the 1-yard line with, under 2 minutes to go in the game.
Last second, it wasn't even 2 minutes. It was the last second, last play of the game, and he threw an interception. Never mind. I lost money on that. That made me mad.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the last play of the game. The last play of the game was Brady kneeling.
Oh, sorry.
It
Sorry.
was under the last. It was within the last minute of the game.
This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like they hadn't in the entire game. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, in the entire game they had not stopped Marshawn Lynch from getting at least 5 yards per carry, and they were on the 1 yard line, and they decided to pass the ball instead of just give the ball to Marshawn Lynch and let him win the game. And they threw an interception, and the Patriots
Yeah.
won.
It was as 2015. It was February 1st, 2015, that Super Bowl.
Yeah, 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Infamous. But I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for the Seahawks, and my reason why is because my Vikings decided that it would be a good idea in the offseason to trade Sam Darnold to the Seattle Seahawks because they wanted to go with J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy proceeded to be injured all season long, and Sam Darnold is now in the Super Bowl. So, yeah. I hope he wins.
Yeah, but
I really hope he wins.
I'm rooting for Seattle because if I'm not mistaken, DeMarcus Lawrence went to Seattle.
I don't know. I know Cooper Kupp is there. I like Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence is number 0 for Seattle. So I want to see him get success because as long as Jerry Jones is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys or the Jones family is the owners of the Dallas Cowboys won't make it back to the Super Bowl.
So you want to know something funny? Jerry Jones actually makes an appearance in that Landman show that I've been watching.
I heard.
Yeah, they talk. He's in it. It's kind of funny. But
so
yeah, so I'm kind of hoping for the Seahawks. Seahawks also got a guy on their team named Kobe Bryant. That threw me off, and they're like, "Oh, interception by Kobe Bryant." I was like, "Wait, what?" Wrong sport.
What he should do is when he jumps up to catch the interception, he should yell, Kobe, catch it and run it back for a pick 6. Have him mic'd up for it because that would be awesome.
That would be funny. So, yeah, that's my week and what I'm hoping for the rest of the week to be.
Oh, let's hope the rest of your week goes well, sir.
If the Seahawks win. I always root for the NFC.
Oh, of course. Both of our teams are in the NFC.
Yeah.
The only time I would have rooted for the Denver Broncos if they would have made it, but they played like crap.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help when your quarterback who's led your team the whole year decides to break his foot on the last play of the game before going to the NFC Championship or the AFC Championship.
That's true.
He broke his foot kneeling the ball.
How do you do that? That's my question.
He must have had like a stress fracture or something, and he just it made it worse. But you can clearly see in that play when he kneels it down that he comes up limping like something just happened.
Yeah, something wasn't right. But hey, we don't make the rules. We don't even follow them.
Well, most of the time. Well, all right. The universe.
Right. Let's get into this. So
I know you're excited about this.
So we were trying to come up with ideas for the show today, and I posted one to you, and you thought it was a good idea too. Could be fun. And we're going to be discussing why some universes feel bigger than others. I mean,
when it comes to gaming and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like how certain universes just have a grander feel.
Yeah, so like some universes are large in distance, like Elite Dangerous, and then others are large in scale because of your independence you get. And then there's some that are just large in scale because the world moves around you. But let's talk about physical size versus functional size.
Okay.
So physically, games can be really huge and feel really small.
Right.
Starfield was a big example of this, in my opinion, because while Starfield was a huge game, because of how repetitive a lot of the stuff was for the different POIs and stuff, it felt really small.
It felt small. It felt like you only like really needed to go to a handful of any of those planets. Like you could go
Hmm.
to the other ones, but even when you went to the other ones, like the way they were procedurally generated, they all felt this like the same kind of.
Yeah, they did. No Man's Sky also feels that way just because it is so huge and the planets are so huge that you could stay on one planet or a couple of systems in the area and be fine. People actually have to actively jump to other places just to explore.
Mm-hmm. I haven't really got
But
into that one much, but I feel like now that they added like the underwater stuff, it's starting to feel a little bigger.
yeah, it does feel a little bit bigger because you can actually go into the water. You can go to water worlds and stuff like that. So it is a little bit better in that regard. But look on the other side of things, and you got planets that are not planets, universes that are physically smaller, and in some cases, some that are streamlined that you don't have open worlds. And they can feel bigger in many cases. And an
Mm-hmm.
example of that is Mass Effect. Mass Effect is you only have so many places you can go, but it feels huge because it's a lot of diversity. There's a lot going on in the universe. Um, they feel alive, really.
Yeah.
Now, don't get us wrong. Starfield technically is alive, but you have to interact with things. There's not a lot of changes going on.
Right.
One game to me, one game that actually breaks the both of these molds is Elite Dangerous. And the reason why I say that is Elite Dangerous is a 1-to-1 scale of our galaxy. It's huge. When you go to explore the universe, you see how huge it is. And the the distant planets you go to explore, they do feel similar in a lot of ways because they're procedurally generated. However, the you could just stay in one spot and the governments change, the economies change. People are actually talking on the radios about traveling through the system. So it actually feels big, even in the small areas, in the small bubble that you're in for human colonization.
Yeah. You know, another game, I mean, it's a game that you're the only real person that matters, but
Hmm.
it feels huge. And it's just one you're on one world, but it feels huge. And that's Minecraft.
Well, because
Because you
that is
can
huge.
yeah, you can literally just walk in one direction and it would take you forever to get back to where you were, to get all the way around and back to where you were. It would take so long. The game is so massive.
And there's also in that game, as long as you're creative, the problem I have with that game is while it is huge, it doesn't feel as alive as it could.
Yeah.
But I get why they did it the way they did it.
See, and that's one of the things that kind of caught me about this Hightail game was they made it feel a lot more alive. Like, if you
Hmm.
watch the trailers and stuff, there's a lot more wildlife. There's a lot more creatures, like things like when you get attacked by wolves, they'll actually like come at you and like start flanking you instead of all of them just coming at you in a straight line like on
They
Minecraft
actually
and
start
stuff.
acting like wolves.
Yeah, they'll start like actually flanking you and trying to like box you in and stuff and like work together and like yeah, feels more
Uh,
alive.
so I stopped. So my top screen up here has the chat where you tell Nikki Z that he sent you down a rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
And I stopped the what's it called? I stopped the video where a dog is laying on a log by a fence napping.
Yeah,
You don't see that in
yeah,
uh, Minecraft.
yeah.
So,
There's a lot of cool stuff in that game, so I'm pretty interested. But yeah, it just
so
it feels that game, even though it's like you're just in one. A lot of people spend most of their time in one spot, just building up and all that. That game is massive. Like that
Mhm.
universe is huge, probably one of the biggest in any game.
Yeah. So another one that feels small, or that is actually small, but to me feels huge, is the Star Wars series. Um,
You're
the
talking
movies,
shows.
the movies and shows, they feel bigger than uh what you would think, just because of how much stuff is going on in the back going on. They have very few locations that they actually show. Even in video games, they don't they have a lot of action locations. And to me, they Knights of the Old Republic feels big, and it's
See, I
small.
would disagree. I would say it feels huge because they go to so many different planets. I mean, they're constantly going warp speed, and like they're going to like Yavin, or they're going over to Endor, or they're going over to like Tatooine, or they're going to Coruscant. Like they're constantly like, it feels like the universe is huge. And then when you get to a specific planet, they go to so many different places on that planet that the planet itself feels huge. So
Now, one thing we'll discuss about a little bit later in this episode that piggybacks off that,
okay,
and it's the how long it takes to travel to locations.
yeah. I mean, even
Uh,
like okay, you play a game like The Old Republic. Like every
mhm.
planet you go to feels huge. Like you need speeder bikes, and they still take forever to get places. And there's so many different planets you can go to. It's I don't know. I think it makes the Star Wars
See,
universe feel massive to me.
eh, but it's a especially in the games, they're physically smaller locations because you Star Wars: The Old Republic, you only have so much of the area you can explore. Coruscant, for example, huge city planet. You can only explore so much of it,
Yeah,
but they
there's
use
only so
when you
much
take
open to you.
yeah, but when you take the taxi, you're going down, you're going through the buildings to get to the next zone of it. It makes it feel huge.
Right.
So I do like how they use scale to make something feel bigger than it actually is.
Hmm.
Um, the next topic, in my opinion, this one, does the universe feel bigger when it exists without the hero? Like, take let's do Elder Scrolls, for example,
Okay.
because you have NPCs that can physically die on the road when you're just sitting at the bar.
Yeah.
And so the world works around you, whether you want to do anything or not. The main story might not advance, but the world exists, and NPCs actually fight the dangers of the world.
Right.
So to me, a game like that feels bigger than a game like um, ah, Starfield. While the world is existing around you, you don't see random combats going on in space all the time, unless you jump to a zone and it generated that combat in this space. Uh, I can
Right.
sit at a bar in Aquila City and nobody's going to die. Nobody's
Right.
going to go out and fight something.
I think one thing you kind of touched on that a little. Like I think one thing that makes the game feel bigger is when like you said, things are happening around you, or like if your choices affect how the world happens. Like I
Mhm.
think that kind of affects how big the world feels, because like you're making these choices. But like, I mean, with what you're saying is without the hero, I mean, something like Star Wars, for instance, like you have so many different stories within Star Wars that are happening at the same time, that it kind of makes the world feel so much bigger, because
Mm.
you're sitting here watching this story and thinking this big epic thing's happening, but then you watch this other story that's happening at the same time, and you're like, wow, this is so big that they didn't even reference that this is happening at the same time, because it's like so big that they don't even. I mean, they wouldn't even
Yeah,
know that it's happening at the same time because it's so far away and stuff. Like,
yeah.
or like the Star Trek
If you take
universe.
Star Trek, man, you got Star Trek's a good example because you have a lot of overlap. So let's just take the Star Trek Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. So Star Trek,
Voyager itself makes the world seem huge. It's so big that they get lost.
yeah, you don't realize just how big it is because they give you a number, 70,000 light years. All right, cool. Then you actually have to look and think. Light takes 8 minutes to travel from our sun to Earth.
Right.
A light year is how long it takes light to travel 1 year.
Times
Or
70,000. Yeah.
yeah, it takes a light year distance. It takes light traveling from a star 1 year to reach that point, and they're traveling 70,000 of those away. And it's like that's just it's a distance that makes it really hard for you to comprehend if they got to travel back. And I think they
Yeah.
said it was going to take what 70 years
You
to
feel
get
like it
back.
would take long. How can they move faster than the speed of light? Like, that's just crazy.
Warp travel is faster than the speed of light.
That just seems like that's so hard to fathom that like they can travel faster than the speed of light. That much
Yeah,
faster.
and warp speed. Every warp is a magnitude of increase in this distance above the speed of light. So, but yeah, it's Star Trek: The Next Generation starts off, and you know the overall arcing story has stuff going on in the background each season. Well, what I like is, and this is a discussion that you have a lot of times with Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek The Next Generation. Because Star Trek The Next Generation, I think season 5 is when Deep Space Nine started.
Uh-huh. I think that's right.
Because yeah, because the Enterprise starts off with the Enterprise docked at Deep Space Nine and Picard and Cisco talking. And so you have Star Trek Deep Space Nine a couple of years going in while Enterprise is still going on. And then you have that discussion. All right, the Dominion War starts in like season 4. And we got the Dominion War going on. All right. And then everybody's question, because Generations is still going on and whatnot. Where's the Enterprise with the Sovereign class? And then that's, in my opinion, that makes the universe for Star Trek feel huge because they're referencing stuff that's happening from another show and the current show, and it's like that's huge. And then during Deep Space Nine, Voyager gets flung into the deep far reaches of the
Right.
galaxy by going to the Gamma Quadrant, or sorry, Delta Quadrant.
So my question, one thing, I know this is a little off topic, but I mean that's how this show goes. But one thing I noticed about Star Trek is it never ever shows them having to get fuel. Ever.
So there's something I've noticed that happens a lot is a lot of off-screen things happen where they go into a star base, or you'll hear them talk about just leaving a star base.
Yeah, but what
Um,
about Voyager? Like they're out in the freaking middle of nowhere. Where are they getting fuel?
that is a big contention with Voyager is they don't show them being in survival mode as much as you think they would be.
Yeah, where are they getting food? Where are they getting fuel? Like they
It, in my opinion, if it was the Enterprise out there, I could justify them making it back with very few issues on resources in that 7 year time frame, just because the Enterprise is meant to be a deep space exploration vessel. Voyager wasn't meant to be a deep space exploration vessel. It's a scientific vessel. So yeah, they don't have the capacity to store as much resources as the Enterprise.
right. I know, but
That
like even in Star Wars, like it shows them like when they're at the bases and stuff. It shows them fueling the ships and stuff. Like you see
Yeah,
them getting fuel before they go
they
on their
actually have to
missions
worry
and stuff.
about they actually have to worry about costs of docking, costs of servicing their ships, all that
Yeah.
stuff. But Star Trek, you hardly ever see that.
Yeah, and I think in
But
one of the episodes of Ahsoka, even they were talking about how like, well, if we go any further, we won't have enough fuel to get back. Like they reference the fact that they need fuel, but in
all
Star
right,
Trek, they just have infinite fuel.
man, if you're going to talk about Star Wars and talk about fuel, love them or hate them, at least the what was it, episode 8 talks about them running out of fuel in space while being
Of what?
chased. Uh, it's the one where Leia uses the Force to
Oh yeah, yeah,
survive.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, you're still
They,
talking about. That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah,
they then in Star Wars, they actually reference fuel, and
hmm
it's like it, but never in Star Trek did I ever see them ever reference fuel or running out or having an
yeah,
issue with it or anything.
yeah. That's one of the things that bugged me about Voyagers. They could have played on more onto that aspect. Um, so back to the topic.
Yeah. Yeah, back to the
uh,
topic. Jeez, why are you getting us all off topic? Gosh, Rook.
I know, right? So big universes that feel small to me are when the NPCs exist only to give you quests, react to you, or wait for you. Uh, for example, and this is where me and you disagree. WoW to me, while WoW is huge, it feels small because the world around you outside of other players doesn't really react.
I mean, that's every game though, and it kind of does. Like, you, for instance, like you'll see like wolves running around killing rabbits.
Occasionally,
Yeah,
but I don't
whenever a
see.
rabbit comes across or like anytime you come near a hostile NPC, like they'll come running at you and things like that, and they patrol around and things like that. Like there is,
But you
it's
never
just it.
see, and this is a failure of MMOs. You never see enemies fight other enemies.
Yeah, you do.
I I don't really see it that often.
They have like
Maybe
whole events like the Scourge invasion at the end of the first WoW. When you'd have to go join the Scourge invasion where like the knights and the Templars and stuff are all fighting against the Scourge and you go join them. Like, there's whole battles going on and you just join and help. Like that
yeah,
happens a
but
lot.
those are scripted battles that don't feel like
Everything in every
battles.
game is
It doesn't
scripted
feel.
though.
Yeah, true, it is. But those in that regard don't make me feel like I care about those NPCs.
Yeah. I mean that's fair.
Mass Effect 3, I actually care about building up an army to succeed so I can
Yeah.
save the galaxy. WoW, I don't really feel like the army is necessary because I can kill more people than their guys can.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if at any point you're ever feeling like WoW is not a very big universe, fly to the or the southernmost point of like the Tanaris Desert or something. Get on your mount and run all the way up to the highest point of the map. You won't feel like the world's small anymore because it'll take you hours on a
I'm
mount
aware of
to
this.
run
I'm
all the way up. Like that's just
physically,
huge.
physically, the maps are huge,
And that's just one of the continents. There's like 5 or 6 of them now.
but it doesn't feel as alive as it could.
Even on like with like the dragon flight and stuff and having the new mounts and stuff where you could fly like 400% speed, still takes forever to
Yeah.
get from one end of the world to the other.
Well, to me, it doesn't feel as big as it could be just because I want the NPCs to actually be more like Elder Scrolls, walking around and fighting everything or trying to survive. Now, I don't need it to be where if an NPC dies, I get a letter saying my honorable friend died.
I don't
like
know.
in Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I don't agree with you that WoW by any means feels small. Like that game just feels sometimes it feels overwhelming how big it is. You go into like one of the major cities and go where like the portal rooms are, and you see like 16 different portals to different places you could go, and you're just like, man, this world is getting massive.
Yeah. Here's another one I this ties into our next question. Are you the center of the universe or just someone living inside of it? So with WoW, this is where I'll give WoW its credit. You don't feel like the center of the well, if you're doing the raids and stuff, you don't feel like the center of the universe. If you're doing the main story, you're the center of the universe because you play the main story with multiple different characters. You
Mm-hmm.
get the same story. Uh,
Yeah,
Mass Effect, Mass Effect gave me, while it's one of my favorite series, Mass Effect gives me the in between feel because the story revolves around your character trying to save the universe.
right.
Um,
I mean,
but
kind of with WoW, it's like yes, you feel that way, but like so if you're playing Horde or Alliance, obviously you're going to get a different story either way. But you're
yeah,
following the story of the Alliance. You're not following the story of you as a character in the Alliance. You're following the story of the Alliance and what the Alliance is doing, or the
yeah,
Horde and what the Horde. Well, for me, it's always Horde, but the Horde and what the Horde is doing. Like, so I guess I don't really. I feel like part of the story, but I don't feel like the center of the story.
yeah, I can see that. One that makes me feel like I am not part of the story at all was Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah,
Because
I mean that's game
because
didn't
you
really
weren't
have a
really
huge story.
it didn't have a huge story, and the community actually made it is what made the stories. Like you would have the Empire and the Republic. I felt like a member of the Republic fighting the Empire.
Yeah, my dog. Somebody
but
moved.
but I didn't feel like because there was no real story outside of me trying to do the things I wanted to do, I didn't feel like I was a center of attention in that universe, like
Yeah, I
in Mass
agree.
Effect. Um, that's a benefit of MMOs, in my opinion, is the stories are written in a way you are not the center of the universe.
Well, another one that kind of gives me that same feel, and it actually falls in the universe itself is probably really big, but it feels really small because it takes place in one small space. Is Dune?
Hmm.
It just takes place on Arrakis, and I know that the universe is a lot bigger, but all you get is the story from Arrakis, and even the game Dune Awakening. Like I don't feel like I'm the center. Like
No,
the story doesn't really revolve around me because it's all just like one big massive war. But like,
yeah, it doesn't even feel like you're heavily involved in a massive war either. It just feels like the game feels like you're just trying to survive on the planet.
right, like
I wish
you're
they would have.
there and making the best of it. I mean,
Yeah, it's just us trying to survive. Now, games where you are actually part of the war, um, Elder Scrolls makes me feel like the world is alive and I'm actually involved in the decisions that are being made, or
you
not
talking like
decisions, but the
ESO,
war. ESO depends upon where you're at. Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, I felt more
Skyrim? I
like
feel like the center of the game.
you can. Uh, they react what the main story doesn't really move unless you do stuff. Yes.
Right. I mean, you're
So
the hero. You're the one who has to save it all.
now the one good thing I'll say about Mass Effect in this regard is Mass Effect things happen if you don't do them fast enough. So if you just sit around and focus on one aspect of the story, something else will happen. You'll be closed off from that. So that's something I like. Uh, what about your Final Fantasy games? What do you feel with those?
I mean, the worlds are huge in every one of them, but every one of them seems to take place. separately, even though there's like they always. I love the Star Wars reference, but they always have Biggs and Wedge, and like it's after a certain game, Biggs and Wedge is in like every game. Sid is in just about every game, but they all
Mhm,
seem to take like be separate stories in different worlds. So it's kind of hard to really say. Like Final Fantasy 14, for instance, massive, and the
mhm.
world feels massive.
Yeah,
And the
it does.
story, that one you kind of feel like the center of the world or the center of the conflict because everything revolves around you. That game is one of those games that kind of bothers me because like you do some major thing and save the entire world and you they throw you this huge massive celebration for saving the world and all this and then like literally your next quest is go fetch me a pair of earrings. Like really? Really? I think I've evolved past fetch quests like at this point. But
Yeah, one thing I will say with, uh, video games that are huge like that, Star Wars: The Old Republic, while you're on the main map, it feels small. It's big, but feels small because it's the same repetitive stuff going on. Even the
right,
combats, people are living and dying, but they just respawn and do stuff. The
right.
instances for your main story or that planet story is where it feels huge
Yeah, it gets you
because,
more involved in the story.
yeah, and your actions actually have consequences in those.
And I think Starfield kind of did that too. Like when you went into like the big missions and stuff, like I felt more involved. Like when the expansion came out and you went to that space station and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like and then you went to that other planet. Like I felt like more involved and like more in the universe then. So
Yeah.
it felt bigger to me. But like just the main story, I don't know.
So, in my opinion, side quests help make the universes feel bigger because they're making you do more in that universe than just,
Hmm.
"Hey, go do this to advance the story."
But the part where like the universes get kind of tricky though is when you like for instance the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like when you start introducing like multiverses and things like that, then it just kind of gets weird because it's like now the universe is not only big but now it's like infinite because there's a multiverse and anything can happen anywhere at any time and then it can cross over and it just kind of gets weird.
Yeah, it does. Uh, so we were talking earlier, and we were talking about how big space was and travel and all that, and
Hmm.
constraints make can be used and help make the universes feel bigger. Star
Hmm.
Wars does it really well. Um, I think I'm not sure, but I think Firefly did it well. Star Trek does it okay, but the way their episodes are written, it's just not the greatest. Voyager did it well just because, they were traveling 7 years to get back or
Right. I think the like for instance the whole fuel thing. Like
Mhm,
that's a constraint they should have had to deal with, but they didn't.
yeah. See,
Um,
Star Wars did it right. Uh, I'll even say, what's the name? The Expanse did it right. The Expanse did it right because they didn't even leave past the asteroid belt. They stayed in between Earth and Mars. That was it.
yeah. I think like the original World of Warcraft did it really well. Like the vanilla WoW made you feel like that game was so huge because it was such a chore before you even were able to afford a mount that you had to walk everywhere, which made everything seem so much bigger. And then once you finally got a mount, it still seemed big because you had like there was so much ground to travel and stuff.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until like way later before they introduced like flying mounts and stuff, which made it a little faster, but it was still huge. Like
Just a little bit.
I think that was like a cool constraint that they put on it is that like, you know, you got to walk everywhere until you get these flight paths and then once you get these flight paths that'll help you, but like
Now, one thing I will say is in the Legends novels, in for Star Wars, space travel takes a long time. It takes, I think, I'm going through the X-Wing series again, and they were saying where they're at to get to Coruscant would be 20 standard hours of
Mhm.
hyperspace travel, depending upon the route they take. Obviously, TV shows you can show it takes time. They do it well with Ahsoka's training and
Mhm.
whatnot. But Star Trek, they mention how long it'll take, but usually it just seems like it's almost instantaneous just because they talk. Uh,
I know it shows them go to like warp and then come out of warp wherever they're at. It's like
and the only mention they have of it is, well, every once in a while they'll show an episode where they're actually in warp drive and in warp.
that's true, and then they go to like the holodeck or something like that,
Mhm.
and like yeah, there are
So
episodes like that.
there are some where they actually take time, but I think travel time in space can make a universe feel huge as well. Like you're
Hmm.
saying, travel time can make things feel
Travel
huge.
time makes things like, for instance, prime example of travel time: the Lord of the Rings movies. It takes like they're traveling to Mordor, and it takes a long time,
Hmm.
like, and it makes you feel how big that world really is, and how like every area they have to go through, and how big it is. Like even on when
Hmm.
they're on horseback, they still don't make very good time. Like they even
No,
reference at one point where they're running out of bread because they've been traveling for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's like we don't see it all, but we see a lot of it, and it makes the world feel big.
yeah, except for when they decide to do a marathon run of nonstop running across the plains, and you're like, man, I'd be dead by the time I got to the end of that
It's
with
like,
that running.
man, that was endurance right there.
Another one that can make it feel really huge. Another constraint is damage. So damage to your ship, damage to your vehicle of some sort
Hmm.
can make it feel huge because you're starting to wonder if you're going to get from point A to point B in one piece, and if you have the ability to make it there, that can really make it feel huge because then you're actually sitting there looking at it like, I need to get to this system.
That's
My hyperdrive is messed up.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of wish they had done in Starfield is added like wear and tear to your ships where you actually have to
Mhm.
like repair your ships other than when you get in fights, and like the fuel thing. Like
Yeah, the fuel thing.
really make it feel like you're having to to sacrifice to get from place to place, and it's going to
Mhm.
take a while.
Trying to figure out, okay, where do I need to stop to scrounge for fuel resources and stuff. That is one thing I like about the mod team or the mod community for Starfield is they took something out that they added something back in that Bethesda should have never taken out.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
but watching ships fly around and barely make it back to a port or something, and you're really realizing that I am take pirate games. What's that one? Uh, Sea of
Sea of
Thieves,
Thieves.
where you're trying to scoop water out while you're trying to make it to a distant area, and it's like
Uh-huh.
that makes it feel huge because you're trying to keep your ship from sinking.
Right. Right. Those
But one
constraints sometimes will add a lot to the game, and I like it. Like
you know what makes me feel like the world's small though? Fast travel.
yeah,
Because it gets rid of size. Now, it's a convenience, yes, but fast travel is
it's necessary. Could you imagine how long it would take you to beat some games if you didn't have fast travel though? Like
yeah,
imagine playing Lord of the Rings online without fast travel.
that would be a really long time.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Would suck so bad. Or like a game like World of Warcraft, or a game you wouldn't be arguing with me right now that World of Warcraft is doesn't feel very big if there was no fast travel. There were no flight paths. Like
Okay, okay, I will give you that one. I will give you that one.
like
The
there were
flying
no
mounts have made it.
portals, there were no flying mounts. It was just like you get on your
See,
mount and run everywhere. That would oh my
see
gosh. I
even
never would have played the game.
so I started off on Lord of the Rings when it first released. I don't remember if they actually released with fast travel points or what they call it now. Not fast travel, but I forgot what they call it, but it's like fast travel. You'll ride with a few seconds on the horse, and then it will fade out, and you'll be at your next location.
Yeah.
Um, I remember actually having to buy a horse and then sit there and drink water and watch the screen while the horse is actually riding its way through the fields. You still actually have to do that in some spots. You can't just do
Yeah,
speed
you
travel.
still have to do that in some.
And then another thing to me, while Voyager does make it feel like the universe is big, they also make it feel like it's not as spaced out as it should be. And the reason why I say that is their logistics. They, like you say multiple times, they never run out of fuel.
Yeah.
They're never concerned. They mention a couple of times that they need
And they
to
run
watch the
into like
resources.
they're supposedly like out here beyond the reaches of space, so far away it's going to take them 7 years to get back to civilization, but yet they're still running into Romulans and Klingons
Well,
and
the
like all the
Romulans, they
like what are they doing out there?
they so the Klingons are out there because of the caretaker. Romulans, they're involved in an episode because of a wormhole that they send the Doctor through to get to the Prometheus. And then
Yeah,
the Romulans are involved. I can go in that episode because that the Prometheus is my favorite Federation starship. So limitations create realism. That's all there is to it,
for real. I mean,
and
that's
it creates
100% true.
scale. When characters can go instantly go when characters can instantly go anywhere and solve anything, uh, that does drop the scale of the universe significantly. For me to explore and go to Earth-like worlds in Elite Dangerous, it takes me about 8 hours of gameplay. To get to or not 8 hours, more like 5 hours of gameplay to jump the 200 to 300 jumps I have to make. And we're talking about light years. I'm jumping. I think my ship's max range at the time was 60, right around the 60 light year mark. I'm having to do that like 200 times to get to the first Earth-like world I scanned. So it makes me feel big just trying to get to a place I scanned before and how much real time I'm spending in the game to get there and back. So
Yeah.
when I'm having to actually jump to get there and I can't just go click fast travel and I'm there,
You
it's
haven't
so much better.
you haven't played the game Satisfactory, have you?
I have not.
Oh. See that game you have to use like this little scanner to find resources and stuff, and sometimes these resources are forever away. And in order to
Mm,
get them to connect to your factory, you have to have something set up, like some type of transportation system set up, or like some type of piping set up, or whatever. And that kind of limitation makes the game feel huge to me too, because it's like not only do you have to travel all this way, but then you have to build it all the way back to your base to get these resources flowing. And you have to
mm,
like connect everything you need to make these things work and like get the power there and all this. And it's like, I don't know, and it makes it feel those constraints, I guess, like just add a lot to the game and they create more challenge and they
mm.
make the game, just like you said, feel bigger.
Yeah. Another one that I was just thinking about while you're talking is I play a game called X4 Foundations. It's it's a the galaxy is big. It doesn't the in-game universe is big. It's not as big as say Elite Dangerous or anything, but when you build your own space, when you get up to the funding of where you can build your own space station, and then you got to start hiring these crews to start doing trade routes. And then you got to
Mhm.
go save them because they're in the middle of combat and it takes you forever to get there. And by the time you get there, even though, so each area is a hexagonal section of space,
Right.
they have jump gates that you can get through. When you're having to use a jump gate multiple times, and even at your fastest speed, you still get there just in the nick of time, or you get there to finish off whatever ships are still there and haven't retreated from killing your ship.
Mhm.
It really shows you the size of a game.
Right.
But what can make that game feel small though is you can go to the map and can command everything on the map to go click a point here to send and then click a point there to send a ship to go and do that route or gather those resources. And you're just looking at the map. You're not actually there doing it.
Mhm.
It does make it feel small, but then when you
Right.
actually try flying out to where that ship is, it feels huge.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played that one.
It's actually a fun space sim.
Oh.
It's in my opinion, the world's lived in. You will see things will happen with whether you join in on the main story or not. Things will happen in the game. You will see uh, Xenon, which are the AI robotic enemies. They will jump into a system, and you'll see the local system ships start going in and attacking them.
That's
And
cool.
actually, you'll hear if you fly up to them, you can actually hear the comms saying "He's on my 6" or something like that.
Mhm.
And so it makes it actually feel like the universe is actually lived in. It doesn't feel like a dead universe.
Hmm. Okay.
So it has aspects that can make it feel big, and it has aspects that can make it feel small.
That's fair.
Yeah. But to wrap all this conversation up, because there's a lot here we discussed, and
Mhm.
this has been a fun topic to me.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
a universe doesn't feel big because of how far it stretches. It feels big because of how long it takes you to get there, how much your involvement actually affects the universe.
Yeah, how much you use it. Feels big
Yeah.
when it feels played in.
Yeah, it feels big when you actually have to do stuff in there and you actually have to do something within a certain amount of time because if you don't get there fast enough, everything is destroyed.
Right.
Fast travel makes universes feel small,
But can be necessary.
but is necessary
The funny
in
thing is,
today's thing.
fast travel makes universes feel a little bit smaller, but it's only used in games where universes are so big that you
True.
have to have it. Otherwise, it's like unbearable. So it's a necessary evil.
It might not be true, but I blame speedrunners for fast travel.
It's a necessary evil in a lot of games.
These days, yeah, it definitely is.
All right.
Anyhow, we have any more on this topic? I think we did a pretty good dive on it.
Yeah, I think we hit it pretty good. So
That this
if
this
you
was
guys are
fun.
watching us on YouTube, make sure and give us that a rating, preferably 5 stars. We love 5 stars. It's our favorite. Um, like and subscribe.
There you go.
Definitely like and subscribe because that helps our algorithm, helps us out a lot. Uh, you can find us on Discord. Our Discord is discord.gg/raw podcasts. We're in there a lot. If you message us, we'll see it. We'll message you back.
hmm
If you have any questions or want to give us any feedback or anything you'd like to hear on the show, that's the place to be. That's the place to check us out. You got anything else?
Nah, that's pretty much it. Just hit us up. We enjoy conversations when we're not in game, and we enjoy. We just enjoy being nerds.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a fantastic nerdy week, and we'll see you guys next time.
Stay nerdy.